Well, guys, week 3 is upon us. It's time for another edition of The Ledger. And guys, the time for excuses is over. It's week 3. We got to get it figured out. We got to get some winners on the board. All three of us still struggling to break even. Garrett still is retaining the title of lowest loser. I don't know what we want to call it, but there's the standings on the graphic right there. You can see Garrett sitting at 4-8. I guess just a product of picking fewer games, most likely. He's deciding to dig a smaller hole than Mitch and I are. But Mitch, I don't know about you, but sometimes as a teacher, I tell my students when you're in a hole, you need to stop digging. I think there's gold another 6 feet down. I'm going to keep on digging this week, and we're going to find some gold this week. So,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm going to I got a lot of fun picks this week. I know you guys do too. Garrett, you have the honors as usual as the title of smallest loser. So take it away, my friend.
I gotta say, smallest, not a word typically used to describe you, boy, at 6'6", but I'll take it. I'm okay with that. So my picks this week for the Ledger. I'm gonna start off with my Maryland Terrapins, my darling team, at minus 14.5. They're just playing absolutely zero people this week, so I think 14.5 will be an easy one to cover. I'm putting 30 full nuggies on that one to win 27.27. I think it's just an easier way to get on the board. Also looking for a single, I'm taking Duke minus the 18.5 against Northwestern. Putting a good 20 nuggies on that to win the 18-18. Look, Northwestern is just hot garbage of football right now, and Duke has looked really, really good. And I think that's going to lead to a pretty productive day for the Blue Devils. And then I get into my fun little parlays. So my first parlay, I'm doing my little Alabama parlay. We're taking Bama minus the 32 in a revenge game. They just lost at home. They're feeling kind of bad. You hate to be the team that follows that. I think they'll put up whatever they want to and kind of just take out that anger that they've been having all week in practice. And then I'm also going to take the University of South Alabama plus the 7 against the Cowpokes. I think that's a good spot for them. Not very impressive what they've been able to do so far. So taking that, I'm going to do 30 nuggies to win a good solid 78. And then my last parlay, we have Notre Dame minus 34.5 versus Central Michigan. So that's a sort of directional, Michigan school. And then another regional Michigan school, West Michigan, plus the 28.5 against Iowa. Look, Notre Dame, we all know at this point on the podcast, big fan of what they're doing over there. So the minus the 34.5, I love that. And then, look, Iowa's getting 28.5 points that they have to cover. They haven't made it to that point so far this season. Don't have loads and loads of confidence in them. So we're going to go ahead and pick those two games. That's 20 nuggies to win 52.
Some big numbers you're laying there. If you haven't looked around the country at the slate this week, big numbers abound. There's not a lot of big marquee matchups this week. A lot of Power 5 schools playing the directional Michigans, the directional Techs. So if you want some action, you're going to have to lay some big numbers or find some dogs that you like to stay a little close this week. Those are really hard to find, but Garrett, I like your picks there. Mitch, what do you have this week?
So I think I'm going to maybe draw the ire of some folks over on Twitter.com. Let's lead off with the Florida Gators, plus the number 6.5. They're at home. Going to lay 20 to win 18. Guys, Tennessee has not beaten the Florida Gators in back-to-back years since 2003, 2004. That means they haven't beaten the Gators in the swamp since 2003. This isn't so much about the Florida Gators, and I'm going to talk more about this in our full breakdown on the podcast. So if you're finding this on YouTube, just maybe literally click over to the related link. You'll find our full podcast breakdown. But this is more the Florida Gators versus Joe Milton. Joe Milton hadn't done anything to win me over. I've got a sneaking suspicion the Florida Gators waltz out of this weekend with a victory. So give me the Gators plus the number.
Wow.
I'm not man enough to take it on the money line, but I will take them plus the number.
Money line would dig you out of the hole. That would be a big bet.
It would be a big bet. But you know what? We're gonna keep the ball in front of us. We're gonna stay between the mayo and the mustard, and I think this one has a really good chance to hit. Rutgers minus the number 6.5, 30 to win 27 nuggies. Listen, Rutgers and Virginia Tech are squaring off. Rutgers is the better team in this ball game. I trust what Rutgers is doing on the defensive side. And I tell you what, they're finding ways to score points. They've got a really good running game. Tell me what Virginia Tech has done well so far this season. not a lot. Rutgers is the better side in this game, and they're at home. So I'll lay the number there. Give me the Scarlet Knights. Number 3, we're going with Western Kentucky plus 29. Guys, folks are betting this number up. I think when the week opened, Ohio State was only, 27-point favorites? I say only, it's still a big number. But the fact that money keeps coming in on Western Kentucky, and I can take it even further from home base, makes me feel really good, because those folks, I think, that are pouring in money on Ohio State are betting on the brand Ohio State, not on Kyle McCord's Ohio State. We haven't seen the Buckeyes do anything really impressive on offense. In Western Kentucky, they're a sharp bunch. They don't turn the ball over. They want to go fast. They're going to score some points. Ohio State pulling away in this game. By that number, I'm not so confident they can do that. So give me the Hilltoppers plus the number. 2 parlays here. We got the long shot. Give me Indiana and Louisville, the under 53. I don't necessarily know that Indiana is going to do anything on offense, but their defense hasn't looked half bad so far this year. Honestly, them keeping Louisville to less than 40 points, I think we could still cover. I don't know that Indiana is going to be able to score to get up to 53. So give me the under there. I'll take the James Madison money line over Troy. Give me Western Michigan plus the 28 in the hook. That's 10 to win a spot over 65. And then the G5 special, my final parlay. Give me the Fresno and Arizona State over. Some offense could happen in this game. West Coast, things get weird late night. Mikey Keene is slinging the rock all over the place for the Bulldogs. And the only thing that Arizona State seems to do somewhat consistently right now is score a couple points. Couldn't necessarily do that against Oklahoma State. But this week, I think Jaden Rashada bounces back. I like the over in that one. And then give me Houston plus the 7. They're at home. I don't really know what TCU is this year. I don't know that anybody does. So give me the home team plus the 7. That's 20 to win 52. Guys, if we throw a perfect game, which, I'm just due, right? It's 180 nuggies coming my way.
There you go. That would even things out nicely. I love your picks, but Houston fans are fuming at you including them in a G5 special there, Mitch, and their Big 12 home opener. So
that's my bad. That's what I'm doing. I'll raise my hand on that.
With all the realignment, who can keep track?
They could sell some more tickets and maybe it'll count.
Yeah, they're counting on some bigger Texas brands to fill that stadium this year. Guys, for my picks this week, we're a little bit all over the place. I'm not going to lie. Being safe has gotten me nowhere, so we're getting a little crazy this week. Mitch, I'm with you on Western Kentucky plus the 29. We haven't really seen Kyle McCord and his receivers click yet. We started to see it last week, albeit against the Penguins of Youngstown State, and they still only put up 35 points. So I'm pretty confident in one of the most electric offenses in college football, keeping it within 29. I'm taking Washington minus the 16 up in East Lansing. With everything that's going on, I'm sure we'll talk about this briefly on our preview pod this week, but with everything that's been going on, I just don't even know if Michigan State shows up. I know the narrative typically is cornered animal syndrome. I think Washington's too good to be affected by that. I think they show up ready to go from the jump. Michael Penix puts up a lot of points on Michigan State. My first parlay of the week. A couple teams that I think are being disrespected. A couple teams that are already 2-0 against the spread this year. And I don't know if Vegas just hasn't caught up to them. They're both on the road this week, so I know that can make things a little tricky. Got Kansas State minus 5 at Missouri. Missouri just hasn't shown me anything to think that they're special yet. Struggled with Middle Tennessee last week. And Liberty minus 3.5 at a Buffalo team that lost to, I can't even remember which FCS school they lost to last week, but they lost to an FCS school last week. So a little tricky going on the road with those two teams. You don't always hit when you're picking the road team, but I like my chances 20 to win 52 on that. Forgot to mention my payouts there, 20 to win 18-18 for Western Kentucky and 30 to win 27-27 for Washington. My Undertaker parlay. This is 4 unders that I think are really, really good picks this week. Alabama traveling to South Florida for some reason. I don't think South Florida is going to put up very many points. Under 61 for that one. LSU and Mississippi State. This one just feels like a defensive slugfest. Starkville at 11 a.m. is where good teams and good offenses go to die. Give me the under 54.5 there. Iowa State and Ohio. Curtis Rourke is back for the Bobcats, but in weird things do happen when Power 5 travels to Group of 5, but I just really don't think there's going to be a lot of offense in this one. I'm fully confident taking under 42.5. And the last one is the one I debated on adding or not, but we got to go big or go home. We're trying to catch up to Garrett. North Texas at Louisiana Tech. The over-under is at 69 points, and I know that sounds like a nice number. I know that these two teams have been, hit or miss on the defensive side of the ball this year.
Mostly
I don't trust. Say it again.
But mostly miss.
Mostly miss on defense, for sure. But La Tech has already gone under twice this year in their 3 games. And North Texas has been very, very inconsistent on the offensive side of the ball as well. So 69 is a huge, huge number. I think they stay under. They can still both score in the 38 to 28 range, and I still win this bet. So I'm happy with that one. All right. And here's the new strategy. Parlays haven't always worked, but I love a good teaser bet. I got you guys to approve this one, even though I couldn't necessarily get the math to work out. But our teaser this week, we're doing a 6-point teaser. So TCU minus 1.5 at Houston. Tennessee minus half a point. All they got to do is win the game down in Florida. I know that's been difficult for them in recent years, but I think they can do it this year. And Colorado minus 16.5 at home against the rival Colorado State Rams with game day in town. I'm teasing that one again, down 6 points, 20 to win 30. And that's my strategy, to go big or go home this week. I think that we can get there. I think that we can get close to breaking even again and be within striking distance for next week. But fellas, like I said off the top, time to get some wins. Time to put up or shut up. We appreciate you guys following along all season long. Keep track next week. We'll see you guys next time.
Gracious, how about